disrupted.
America that I thought weird thing to happen. So it looks like the ADL, the people and masterminds responsible, one of the big perpetrators of trying to ban TikTok in the United States for the fact that people are getting information from it, look like they just got a match of karma hit right at them. Because as they're trying to dismantle TikTok from people looking up information, Wikipedia has banned them. According to this post, it says Wikipedia bans the ADL from being cited as a source for labeling legitimate criticism of Israel as anti-Semitic. So it leads to an article here. This says Wikipedia's editors have voted to declare the Anti-Defamation League generally unreliable on the Israeli-Palestine conflict, adding it to the list of banned and partially banned sources. An overwhelming majority of editors involved in the debate about the ADL also voted to deem the organization unreliable on the topic of anti-Semitism, its core focus. A formal declaration on the count is expected next. The decision about Israel-related citations made last week means that one of the most prominent and long-standing Jewish advocacy groups in the United States, and one historically seen as the leading U.S. authority on anti-Semitism, is now grouped together with the National Enquirer, Newsmax, and Occupy Democrats as a source of propaganda or misinformation in the eyes of the online encyclopedia. Moreover, in a near consensus, dozens of Wikipedia editors involved in the discussion say they believe the ADL should not be cited for factual information on anti-Semitism, as well because it acts primarily as a pro-Israel organization and tends to label legitimate criticism of Israel as anti-Semitic. So that's kind of interesting, the fact that what goes around comes around, because they want to dismantle TikTok from people critiquing Israel, and now here they are getting smacked by Wikipedia. Now, I kind of disagree with Wikipedia banning them. Like, I don't want them banned regardless of what they're saying on citations and whatnot. That just makes, the free speech inside of me. But it is just kind of amazing that, all the times that the ADL prides itself for being a spotter of anti-Semitism, while they themselves have been accused of anti-Semitism by silencing, Jewish Voices for Peace, or they're silencing out advocacy groups that want a ceasefire, or silencing out Holocaust survivors from speaking on behalf of, finding common ground between Israelis and Palestinians. And it's fascinating that even Wikipedia, a known CIA tool and asset that Wikipedia has been harvested on, along with the Mossad and other agencies, they have full dictation control over its editing sources, have come to realize this. Like, the ADL is kind of like feminist groups when they scream at other, women for not being exactly like them. It's kind of counterintuitive to their feminist movement, which is supposed to be representing all women and women are powerful and believe all women. And then they go and silence out people, or even like Me Too. Me Too for everyone except for people that are calling out people that we like. Joe Biden, for example, Bill Clinton. We want to believe all women, but not all women that, could actually counteract our narrative. So it's kind of fascinating that way. The ADL no longer appears to adhere to serious mainstream and intellectual cognitive definition of anti-Semitism, but has instead given to the shapeless politicization of the very subject that was originally esteemed for being reliable on, wrote an editor known as Isr3al, whose request for a discussion about the ADL ultimately led to the ban. In a written statement, the ADL said the decision by Wikipedia was a result of a campaign to delegitimize the ADL, and that the editors opposing the ban provided point-by-point refutations grounded in factual citations to every claim made, but apparently facts no longer matter. This is a sad development for research and education, but ADL will not be daunted in our age old fight against anti Semitism of all forms of hate, this statement said. The ADL's ability to fulfill its mission is directly tied to its credibility, which has taken a significant hit with the discussion by Wikipedia, said James Loeffler, a professor of Jewish history at Johns Hopkins University. The online arena is a major source of threats. Losing this mark of trust will impair the ADL's ability to reach digital audiences and counter online hatred. We desperately need solid evidence based data analysis of contemporary anti Semitism. Without a trusted authority, we're likely to see only more politicization and polarization to uh, demonstrate of all, especially vulnerable Jews. Wikipedia's volunteer editors have debated the reliability of the ADL for years. As a group that has come under criticism of the platform from both the left and the right, but concerns concealed into a new discussion about banning the group as a source in April, which was followed by months of discussion featuring hundreds of comments from dozens of editors. A relatively small minority of editors sought to defend the ADL, arguing that the organization's statistics and analysis are widely cited by many news outlets and that themselves trusted by Wikipedia. The defenders said critics of the group managed to show that the ADL may be biased or partisan, but not that it publishes false information. Editors supporting the ban focus on the ADL's conduct following October 7th, Israel's subsequent war with Hamas and the wave of pro-Palestinian demonstrations on college campuses. So, again, I disagree with the measure that Wikipedia did when it comes to just full right banning them. But it is note that they are taking ADL seriously by critiquing them and challenging them to make sure that they're not falsifying stories, which they are. They do falsify stories, they do falsify claims, they do make up misinformation to politicize themselves and uh, give them a better stance when it comes to it and backing Israel, for example. And it's just amazing that the ADL is now getting clapped back from Wikipedia, considering the fact that the ADL is one of the biggest sponsors that's leading to the ban of TikTok, because they can't have people on TikTok being expressive of information and being a voice for information when it comes to Israel Palestine. So they're they're silencing them, and now Wikipedia is silencing the ADL. It's kind of hilarious that way, even though I disagree with both of it. That I don't think we should be silencing any of these voices. I think that the truest form of finding reliable information is more information, is adding to the context, adding perspective, and challenging, uh, these organizations like the ADL and Newsmax and Occupy Democrats and Wikipedia. And that's why they always tell you not to, trust one source. If you go back to your college and high school days and you had to write term papers, they always told you not to write from the same source. Don't use Wikipedia as your primal source. And this is why. Because if you just trust the one source all the time, you're not going to get a full perspective. And then, of course, they're going to push a bias. They're going to push a perspective of this. So it is just, it's kind of baffling. It's kind of amazing in a way that that the ADL is getting their medicine. And while I disagree with, Wikipedia permanently banning them because of the fact that they're trying to harness anti-Semitism and equating that to critics of Israel, and that was the ultimate goal of Zionism. That's the ultimate goal of this whole entire war was trying to conflate all of it together so that people had no choice but to support a bloodthirsty war tyrant in this genocide. And there's now countless laws being passed in certain states that basically are demanding people and throwing people under the bus that are counterintuitive or countering this. The anti, boycott group and the laws that are being passed by Greg Abbott in Texas, for example, that's forcibly telling people you have no choice. You have to support genocide because the country supports genocide because it's good for business, and you don't want to wreck the businesses of the country. And if you don't, do that, then somehow you're anti-American by diminishing free speech of Americans. So it amazes that karma goes around. What goes around comes around, and now the ADL is biting their own ass by doing this.